Let's talk about creating margin in our personal life and in our leadership, because life is just too full. We're too busy. We're too often running from here to there and so on. And it's because we don't have some space carved out ahead of time just for us. Now, let me distinguish up front between margin and boundaries. Boundaries are the yes-no kinds of things, so the parameters we set in our lives so we know what we want to do or not to do. For example, it might be people I will engage with, people I will not, people I'd rather avoid. It might be groups that I'll join, groups I won't. Activities I'll participate in and choose to involve my energy with, and others that I will not. Conversations I choose to have, conversations I choose to avoid. That's what we mean by boundaries. Margin is more about creating space in addition to or around the work that we have to do. How do I make sure I have space for renewal, reflection, just rest, just getting away, just shutting down, tuning out, whatever we want to call it? So I'm going to give you a separate kind of view maybe of this, or a significant look at what the difference is between these, and especially with margin, how we can carve it out using a tool that I put together that might be helpful. But just a reminder, we set boundaries, we schedule margin. So how do you schedule it? Well, I want you to take a piece of paper and put 3 sections down the left side and 7 squares sort of along the top. So you have 21. 7 along the top, 3 down the side. And the 3 areas down the side are morning, afternoon, and evening. And then across the top, just write the 7 days of the week. So that you have a grid, 3 by 7, total of 21 spots. And this was taught to me many, many years ago by an executive who really encouraged me to do a better job of managing my margin, and said, Bill, what I'd like you to do is every box that you have a commitment in that you have to go to, put an X in the whole box. Even if it's a 1-hour meeting in the morning or a 1-hour meeting in the afternoon, put an X through that whole afternoon. And so I started to do that and fill out the week, and pretty soon I had 21 of these boxes filled. And he said, that's what happens. Even when we have some space, things aren't organized well in such a way that we've created some margin. So we have a meeting for an hour, then a 30-minute break, and then another meeting for an hour. But really the first one goes late, then you get a phone call. That little bit of time just evaporates. So I want to show you how you can, create space for yourself and guard it. So he said, think differently. Think about stacking phone calls. Think about stacking meetings. Think about doing things long one day so you have space on another day. And what he said was, start to free up boxes that you own. No one else owns it. You control the time. This doesn't mean you won't get busy or that you won't do anything. It just means you decide. And so he said, if you are filling 20 to 21 boxes week in and week out, you're in trouble and you're headed to burnout. 18 to 20 is busy. It's very busy. Maybe not sustainable for a long time. But what you really want to be is in that 17 range or so, and stay busy enough that you are doing work, obviously, and getting things done, but that you have some blocks set aside, a couple hours here, an hour there, an afternoon here. And that, he said, will really create what you need to own your renewal. And what he was talking about was that you won't do anything necessarily during those times. It's not that you'll always do nothing. It's just that you get to choose. You may get to that space and feel energized and say, I will take that call, or I will join that meeting, or I will do this activity. But if you don't want to, it's there and it's protected. I used to just say, I'm out of town in my mind. Where are you going to be? Well, you know what? I'm occupied. I've got a really important meeting that I just can't schedule anything during that time. Oh, okay. Who's the meeting with? It's with me. It's my time. So 3 by 7, use it as a simple tool. If you go week after week after week where you have to fill 20 or 21, I would encourage you to look way out and go, where can I get a couple of days? Where can I really get some space? You've got to set margin if you want to be a great leader so that you can renew and restore and get focused again on what you want to do with your life and your leadership.